Make change come. I am the guest resident scientist for the day. I teach environmental science at University of New Mexico, and I've been writing papers and studying climate for the last 10 years or so. So I guess you could call me part of the climate science conspiracy.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
Really? Really? Thousands of scientists from all over the world get together in darkened classrooms late in the evening to make this stuff up? Are we kidding? All right, well, I'm just going to say a few things about the science and then move on to some other things. The recognition that CO2 was a greenhouse gas came in the 1800s. And as early as the 1970s, scientists started predicting that the increase of CO2 in the atmosphere would lead to increasing temperatures in our planet. We are burning today 70 trillion pounds of CO2 a year. It's a lot. And the predictions of the scientists have been reinforced with more climate modeling studies, observations, measurements, and unfortunately those initial climate scientists, well, they were kind of wrong because their predictions underestimated the effects. Things are much worse. Scientists are a conservative, cautious group. And what we're seeing is that the effects of climate change are occurring more rapidly than when we predicted only a few years ago. So we see that the Arctic sea ice is melting, polar bears are starving, virtually every coral reef in the ocean is dead or dying due to ocean acidification. There is rising waters and low-lying villages are getting inundated. In the Gulf Coast of the United States and the Atlantic coast, we're seeing tremendous hurricanes that are causing devastation and also economic hardship. In the Midwest, there are terrible droughts that are causing farmers to lose their crops and have to sell off their cattle. And in the western United States, we are seeing megafires, something that didn't exist a decade ago, that are causing vast tracts of forest land to be destroyed and are unfortunately causing the unfortunate death of those brave firefighters who are trying to battle these blazes. But you do not have to be a climate scientist or even read the newspapers to know what's going on. Just look around what you're seeing here in New Mexico, and it's clear. The 10 warmest years on record occurred in the last 15 years. And there's terrible drought. All you have to do is walk up into the foothills here, and you see healthy, what should be healthy, middle-aged trees that are dying because of the lack of water. A couple of days ago, a former student came up to me in Frontier and said, "Isn't this like freaky? Isn't this amazing, like all this rain we've gotten?" No. I mean, it's great. I love it. I sit out and watch it every night, but no, we have a drought. All you have to do is go to Elephant Butte. 10 years ago, a large man-made lake. It's a dried-up puddle today. So we have a drought, it's predicted, and things are not going to stay bad like this. They're going to get worse. Now, there's some countries that are doing remarkable things. I was in Germany this summer. There are times of the year when Germany is getting 100% of its electricity in certain parts of the country from solar and wind. They're doing it. It can be done. What's happening in this country, I've thought about this a lot. Half of the people in this country are climate skeptics. So why? Why is it that something that's so obvious, this is considered a fact by scientists. I'll give you another scientific fact. The Earth goes around the sun. That's a fact. This is a fact. It's not a theory, it's not an idea, it's something that's real. So why is it that so many people don't believe in it? Well, I thought about this, and I think that the answer actually gives us great hope for the future. You've got the climate deniers. These are a small group of people that are paid, either directly or indirectly, by the fossil fuel industry to sow doubt. And they have been damn successful at doing it because there's so many people who have this doubt. We're not going to convince those people. They're getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the fossil fuel industries to spread this propaganda. It's the vast majority of the climate skeptics, those that aren't ready to believe, they're the ones that we have to convince. And you think, why don't they believe? Well, this answer is really simple. They are afraid. They're afraid of what admitting that climate change is really there, how that will affect their lives, what kind of sacrifices they have to make. And here's where the hope comes in, because they don't have to make sacrifices. We can make the change, and we can do it without sacrificing almost nothing. Just last week, the new EPA director, Gina McCarthy, thank you. Gina McCarthy gave a speech, and she said this is a time for opportunity and growth. And she's right. There's lots of things we can do, and it doesn't cost us anything. Let me just give you a few examples. If you put solar panels on your house, you have paid off the cost of those solar panels in 8 years. I know, I've done it. So it's something that everyone could do, but people don't have that income to upfront buy solar panels. However, if you could get a low-cost loan and put those solar panels on your roof, from the day those solar panels are there, you will save more in electricity than you will pay on the interest of that loan. In other words, from the day you put those solar panels on your roof, you're making money. So why isn't everybody doing it? Because the banks won't give you a loan. Okay? But there's an easy fix to this. All we need is legislation to make these loans available for people and a public outreach program to make this known, and we can start doing this. We can start doing this right now, and it's not causing any pain. In the Rust Belt of the Midwest, there are big abandoned steel mills. Nothing's happening there. Those could be turned into wind and solar plants. The electricity's already there. It used to go into the plants. It could now be coming out of the plants into the surrounding communities, and it would create jobs for the community. We could also do it on a large scale.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sun here in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Where should this be done?
Yeah, right here.
No, not here. No, this is a bad place. Where you should do it is in northern Germany, where it's always cloudy.
Yeah.
Why the hell aren't we doing it here? Well, you know what? People don't want to have all that taxpayer dollars go to building large-scale solar plants.
And wind also. Wind too.
And wind, we'll get to wind. Well, we won't. We don't have time. But you know what? It doesn't cost anything to do this. If you have private investment in a large solar plant, what a great investment. The sun's going to shine every day, and the electricity that's generated is going to be used every day. It's a guaranteed return on your investment. So New Mexico can be a electricity producer for the rest of the country. We could be making money not on fracking and oil extraction in New Mexico, but by making electricity from alternative energies, solar and wind.
Yes.
So a friend of mine, a smart guy, an engineer, he said, you would have to cover every square inch of the United States with solar panels in order to generate enough electricity for our economy. That's wrong. That's not true. You don't have to do that. 200 square miles, the size of White Sands missile range, is all it takes. So why aren't we doing this? Well, because you have the fossil fuel industry that doesn't want to see change. There's all this petroleum in the ground. Think of it not as oil, but money. There's money buried in the ground, and if you stack those up as dollar bills, they would reach up to the moon. So you say to them, you know what, all that money that's buried in the ground, just leave it there. We don't want to use it. We want to go to alternative energies. They are going to, and they have been, fighting this tooth and nail. And they will continue to win because they're paying politicians lots of money for their campaigns. And the only way we're going to get change is when the people, those climate skeptics, there they are, they got the heads in the sand right over there. When those climate skeptics realize that we need to make a change. We will make a change. We're going to do it now or we're going to do it later. If we do it later, it's because we're in such dire straits that we have to do it. I hope we do it sooner. And the way we're going to get it to be done sooner is to get our politicians on board. Congressman Grisham and Lujan, they're great. Our senators are great. You have to write to your legislatures, to the president, and to our governor and say, hey, this is what we demand. And when the people demand it, it's going to change. So you're all here. This is great. It's up to you to talk to your friends, to your families, write to your senators, write to your congressmen, make those politicians know that we demand change. The change will happen, and once it starts, man, it's going to be fast. So thank you everyone for being here, and keep up the good work.